So we want to open the floor now to comments, questions. We have a number of people that do cross-border business and others interested in doing that. So what are some of the things that are on your minds today? Ask another question, and it's more focused back on Canada, trying to be successful and compete. What we're finding is our infrastructure in Canada, in Ontario specifically, is not as good as we find in countries like China that we're competing with or that we're bringing product into. So it's very difficult. And I mean, Durham's an example of that. So a lot of our employees can't work at home. We don't have the broadband infrastructure and things like that. I know it's not specifically part of your ministry, but do you have any influence on that? Can you influence that because it's an economic development and...
Well, there's, of course, a major issue here in Durham, which is the 407. I've got a similar related issue in my constituency, which is the extension of the Highway 404, which is critical if you're going to see any kind of economic development in places like where I live, Georgina and East Gwillimbury. And we entered into an agreement with the provincial government, the FLOW plan, which is $1 billion plus plan to allow all these pieces of infrastructure to be built, shared cost between us and the Ontario government. There weren't specific partnerships on each project, but we gave them a big chunk of money and they agreed to, for example, have 404 in my case extended to Ravensure Road by 2012, 407, I can't remember the deadline, but these deadlines are all being missed by the province, which is a matter of great concern to us. We have been, Mr. Flaherty's been taking the lead in trying to press those issues with the provincial government. There's been some success in moving the dates forward from where they were threatening to be, but they're still falling far short of where we are. So this is problematic. We need to get that infrastructure in place. It's critical for the Greater Toronto Area economy. Time lost in logistics, we've got some people here who know that firsthand, that's huge economic value that's lost. So.
Well, that's part of it, certainly the transportation part, but the telecommunication aspect, we are so far behind other countries. You have kids coming to our universities from Mexico that are used to faster broadband than we can get in Toronto. I don't know if you have influence on that, but again, our message is
there's
not
enough fiber in the ground. Like anybody who's driven in downtown Toronto, you know, take a look at the road. The road is carved up into pieces every block because of the color, the fiber optic that's been laid. So the problems all tend to be more commercial provider issues.
But you do have some influence as the federal government on that.
We do through the CRTC, through Industry Canada, and the issues where I come from are the issues of providing rural broadband. So small businesses can continue to thrive and prosper, and you'll certainly have some of those issues in our region as well. That's where real progress needs to be made, but there should not be difficulties in any urban context right now, certainly in the Greater Toronto area, other than people not being happy to provide the packages necessary and so on.
Well, I'll bring it past the small business, and a lot of our businesses are small business, but I mean businesses like mine and Kevin's and others, you're working at home late at night because you're dealing with China. Right. And if you don't have broadband in Uxbridge or North Durham or anything, you really are not doing a successful job. You're not competing well where you could if you're in the city. And this is a great place to live, and we want our employees to live and work here. So that is a challenge, that it's not just small business.
That is critically important. I'm on a farm in Georgina. Rogers has no interest in coming along my road, so our choice is nothing or go through broadband. We've been fortunate to have something that has been set up in the past few years called South Shore Broadband in Georgina. A lot of federal money in it, supporting the infrastructure, and now you have rural broadband effectively. It's also in partnership with local providers, and we've provided through our rural broadband funding, additional funding for these kinds of initiatives that are community-based. Progress is being made, but you're right, a lot more has to be done, especially for those smaller businesses out there. And one of the benefits of the way the economy is changing is that place is mattering a lot less. Quality of life is mattering a lot more. And for those knowledge workers, if you're, as you said, working on the computer, dealing with China, doing knowledge stuff, does it really matter if you're on the shores of Lake Scugog or if you're in an office tower in downtown Toronto? It probably doesn't really matter. But the cost models are very, very different, and the quality of life issues may be very, very different. And that's, and when you also reflect on where our greatest economic challenge is in terms of regional economies, it's in rural Canada, where we need to, farms have gone from a 100-acre farm to a 2,000 acres minimum viable operation. That means a whole bunch of other people need jobs. And that can be done largely through the small business sector, but we need that infrastructure in place. You're absolutely right. So we've been moving in that direction, and there are still gaps and pockets where more has to happen.
Thank you. Dan?